Hi, my name is Christian Masuda. I'm 31 years old, and I've been a drug user since I was 14 years old. Um, but I've been on medication all my life, pretty much all my life. When I was 6 years old to the time I was 13, I was pretty heavily abused. CPS had to get involved and took me away because of I was not performing in school. I was a junkie. I was already doing a lot of drugs and preferably psychedelics and weed. And I was starting to get into hang around with people who use crack cocaine and being abused at home. I felt embarrassed, humiliated, scared, and then after a while, it had gone on for so long that I started to feel happy. You know what I mean? But there was always that overwhelming stress of going home every day. So that caused me to dread being there. So I try to find anyone or any clique to join. I joined gangs, and I did anything to keep from having to face my father. Um, so I didn't much like alcohol, but I know by age 17 I got heavy into crystal meth, and I just gotten out of boarding school, the Youth Challenge Academy, and planning to join the military. And I felt that meth would clear out my system fast enough for me to get in, but I couldn't get sober. So I started living on the streets. I was living in a tent in the back, and I got into pretty heavy trouble for the first 4 or 5 years, hanging out with older convicts and drug addicts, criminals. My friends were ripping off houses and cars, so I would help them break in. Never got caught. I racked up every single misdemeanor that you can think of, anything, you know. My two most serious charges are harassment. I was always trying to get something out of people, so I mean, yeah, I was constantly trying to find a way to get my fix, and I didn't like to commit heavy crime, so I would sink to the bottom, and I just recycle cans. I was dumpster diving a lot, and petty theft here and there. But by age 21, I found a cheap way to get my fix, and that was through intravenous use. I became a heavy IV user. I shot up everything. There's some chemicals that I shot up that to this day I don't really know what they were, and I shot up heroin, crack, cocaine, crystal meth, and even some prescription medications. And I stayed that way for 6 years. I didn't really get sober till I went to Sand Island, and they taught me about AA in the program, and I wasn't allowed to work because they remember I had been there before, and they knew I was dual diagnosis. When I'm high, I am completely out of my mind. I am nuts. I don't care. I don't really care what happens to me. I fight anything, everyone, and anyone, and since I've been in the program, I've taught that I also went to the Buddhist church. I believe that when you do good, good comes back to you. When you do bad, bad comes back to you. Since being in the program, I've gotten over all my resentments. I've even my father. I hit some bad luck. Although I did have ambition enough to join the Carpenters Union, I had a hard time going home and telling my mother I'm going to work. She thought I was disabled, so I slapped her and pushed her to get my stuff. I ended up in jail, and there my father visited me for the first time. I was in shock. I didn't believe that this man would ever pay me any mind. He said never to call if I ever get locked up, but he said he knows what I had done, and he felt the same way, that it's frustrating, living with my mother, and I felt relieved. I have since calmed my personality 100%. I've made a complete come around. I had one relapse, but besides that, I have about 5 years sober, and I really enjoying my life. I'm not in depression anymore. I'm not enraged. I'm going to church. I'm doing a step study. I'm on step 3 again. This is my 3rd time repeating the big book, reading the big book over, and I read the 12 and 12. I strongly suggest it, even if you're a scientific mind like I am. I always question religion, and I still believe there's a God. I've seen many things, and many miracles have happened, and I believe they can happen for anyone, or everyone, or anyone, as long as you work at it. For anyone struggling or relapsing, just pick up, even if you start from day 1, and just keep working the steps, keep doing the program, keep finding your higher power, and he'll keep revealing himself. There's a lot of treatment centers and a lot of people who go through drug abuse, and you can get the help. I was the worst kind. I was, a hardcore IV user, and I still got sober. You know what I mean? It's not the end. No, don't listen to what people say. There's still hope.